Peace and blessings, and welcome to Warlock Asylum International News. This is Misael Bey, aka Warlock Asylum, and today we have a very special guest. I mean, this brother is full of wisdom, knowledge, life experience. He's a beautiful person, and he's really got a lot to say. And I find his insights amazing and very soul stirring. I definitely benefit from the things I've heard him mention, and it really, hit me in heart. And I'm sure you as the viewer and listener will find his words just as delightful. And the man I'm talking about today is Master Prophet Noel.
Yes.
Greetings, Master Prophet.
Oh, blessings. I am so happy to be connected with a like-minded individual that is also moving at those higher levels. Blessings, man of God.
Yes, it's amazing. So for those who may not be familiar with your work, I know you do have a wide spectrum of viewers and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to some of our viewers. How would you introduce yourself?
My name is Master Prophet Noel, and for the last 13 years, I've made it a life mission to present the prophetic an occult vision. I'm bringing back Santeria and removing the stigma of fear so that people can begin to use this level of divination and bring clarity, direction, health to individuals. For the last 13 years, I had a vision that Chango and the 7 African powers appeared to me and told me that I would be the new face of the prophetic, that I will begin to train people from all over the world how to prophesy, how to look into the future, how to do divination, and take the magical skills to bring enlightenment to the masses, to show people they don't need to fear Santeria, the 7 African powers. There is no fear. They need that magical power to help them in their journey of life. So what I've been doing for 13 years is training people that have come to me with sicknesses and diseases, struggles with black magic, problems in their relationship. And I began to show them how Chango and the 7 African powers can bring newness in their life and begin to help them with their life and destiny. And my journey started, which is really funny, in a mobile home in 10 Pine Street, Hollywood, Florida.
Wow. Wow.
Me and my wife came from New York City to Florida, and I could not find a job.
Wow.
And I remember that when I was in that mobile home, God spoke to me and says, I would never work a day of my life ever again, that I would be the new leader of the prophetic. Wow. Now, keep in mind, I did not have any training. No one mentored me. I had no schooling. I had no certification. Right from the mobile home, I began to get these visions and dreams. And God began to come to me and says, you have to change. You have to tell people that they have to go back to their ancestry paths. You see, the reason why most people don't find the deliverance they desire is because they've forgotten their roots. Because if you're African American, your ancestors used to go to the voodoo man anytime they needed healing in their natural body. Today, we depend on medical doctors, we depend on these experts instead of looking to the deities. So in 10 Pine Street, I remember that my rent was, I think it was $375.
Wow.
I was broke as hell. I didn't have a job. My wife didn't have a job. And this vision began to grow inside me. I want you to teach people Santeria. I want you to teach people that want to prophesy how to operate at this magical level to bring blessings into people's lives. Stop cursing people. Stop causing people harm. Bring people houses. Bring them properties. Bring them good health. Help them use the power of Santeria to deliver people and give them the things that they desire.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I want to make clear, the occult has a stigma that many people fear. They fear the occult. They don't want to look at Santeria. They don't want to look at voodoo. They don't want to look at these magical arts because they believe that it's going to cause them harm. So right there in 10 Pine Street, Hollywood, Florida, with no job, with no income, with nothing, God began to breathe these secrets. And he began to start showing me, I want you to make audio CDs. And it was funny because I came to my wife and I said, Daniel, there's a spirit that's communicating with me to make courses, but I was never trained in courses. She said, you sure? She said, I don't know, this sounds kind of fishy. I says, I have hundreds of books inside of me because the deities and spirits can't breathe this stuff inside of me. So she said, okay, let me see if you can do this. Right in the mobile home, I started producing my first sets of audio CDs, the School of the Prophets. That one course, the School of the Prophets, was 21 audio CDs. And from there on, I made tens of thousands of dollars from that mobile home.
Wow.
And then from there, I moved out, got my first piece of property, and the deities began to give me more secrets and more revelation that began to move as I began to grow. So that was basically my start. Yeah.
Wow, it's absolutely amazing, man. I mean, it reminds me of some of my journey also, but when I met you, I said, you know, this is the medicine that I need at this time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
you know, like I could see, you know, the energy and the excitement that you have about your path and also about where it took you and so forth. When you were, you mentioned about Santeria and the 7 African powers. Did you have any prior training, or was it around the family that you learned these things initially, or how did that come about?
That's a great question. That is really a great question. And one of the things that I admire about you is not only your wisdom, your understanding, but your ability to ask right questions. And that is a great question. You ready for the answer?
Yes.
I grew up in Santeria. My mother's, father's, sisters, and brothers all worship the 7 African powers. But not one of them in all my generations understood how to use the magical powers to turn it into wealth. So as I began to grow up, I saw my brothers struggling, my father struggling, my mother struggling. They would worship the deities. They would call on the deities. They would bring in fruits and beautiful things, but it never worked financially. They always struggled, even though they operated in magical powers. So for many years, as I began to get older, I went into the realm of Christianity. I began to see God the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and I began to go into an educational process of learning more of the Christian faith. I spent over 15 years moving in that direction, but it did not help me in my journey. Wow. Christianity caused me more harm than anything that appeared in my life. Wow. Ask me the question, why, Master Prophet?
Why, Master Prophet?
Because of the simple psychology that it placed inside of me that generated fear for me to progress in life. Wow. Sin over emotional struggles. Sin if you get money. Sin if you touch a female. Always sin and hell and judgment followed me that never let me progress in life. So as I began to spend 15 years studying in the Christian faith, I had a natural ability, and I want to make it very clear. I had a natural ability to memorize scriptures without even reading the Bible. I mean, I got some skills. And I started noticing that I was able to remember thousands of scriptures, just picking up a Bible for one time and just, okay. And I was able to memorize all this stuff. And I saw that there was a natural ability there. And then when I would debate individuals, they would say, how is it that you know so much when you never took a class, you never joined a church, you never took a certification, you never operated with anyone? How do you have all of this information? And I always told them it was just given to me. So I noticed that I had a natural ability to teach Christian terminology, but it was only when the deities came to me that it brought it alive. Gotcha. So to answer your question about my past, when the deities came to me in Hollywood, in 10 Pine Street, Hollywood, Florida, I asked the deities that I will spread the gospel that they want me to spread if they show me how to turn it into wealth. And that was the agreement that I made. I will not use my magical powers like my ancestors and family members believe, that you are to heal the people, that you are to raise the dead, that you are to cast the devils, and you live in poverty. I had to ask the deities that if you want me to spread this gospel and bring a new form of Santeria to the world, you have to provide me economics. And this is the agreement that we made. And that's what I began to go forward toward. Yes.
It's absolutely great to hear. The experience is really moving and inspiring. There's a couple more questions that you're talking.
Sure.
A lot of things are coming to mind because, I've seen some of your presentations and the videos are absolutely great. Great poise. The flow is tremendous, and you can get so much information.
And that's so funny that you talk about that, because you know what? Can I tell you how I get that ability?
How's that?
To the deities.
Absolutely.
I do not research. I do not read books. I do not have any training whatsoever. I have no certification. I never joined a church. I'm not part of anyone's organization whatsoever. When I need a course, I go to sleep and I pray to the 7 African powers. Chango, I ask you, what do you want me to spread the message today? Give me the course. And I just put it right before his throne. Then what he'll do is 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll wake up and I'll feel a presence next to me. And then he breathes the course inside of me. And then I say, oh my God, this is life changing. And then he begins to give me this revelation. And he says, go, 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 put it on a book, put it on the TV, a CD, put it on a course, hurry up, hurry up. And I start typing 3 o'clock in the morning, I start typing. So that ability for me to flow, it's a magical ability that the deities give me that I'm able to produce over and over again. And just to finalize that question, let me show you something. A person can make one audio CD and get great success. A person can make maybe a 2 hit records and get great success. Congratulations. Maybe they can even do 5 hit records and great success. But I have not seen one person that can come up with 100, 200, 300 volumes of DVD, CD courses that begin to turn into tens of thousands of dollars. My ability to communicate with the deities gives me that ability to continually make hits after hits and hits, because the secrets that they give me are filled with magic. That's the reason why there's a flow to it.
Absolutely. There's like through those epiphanies and revelations and stuff, it inspires you to produce a lot of material. Even myself as a writer, this is where we also connect as well. I've had that experience where, you just have like I would have books with references, but really the information will come first. And I would use the references to make sure that this was what it was, so that's really a blessing and a true gift, It's very rare nowadays. There's this climate out now where everything has to have some form of like validation to something that is not even a divine source when you're dealing with divine things, where years ago people would judge things by the work itself, And speaking about the 7 African powers and things like Santeria, I know in one of your videos you had mentioned that the greatest victim of Black magic is a Christian. Now, how do you explain this to people who are Christians, since a lot of your clientele is a Christian, and they think that that sort of thing, that's not anything dealing with Christ as I know it. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Sure. The greatest victim of Black magic are Christians because of the ignorance of God's people. Christians believe that when they pray to God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that there's a magical blanket that falls over them, that they're covered. This is foolishness, Because if they read the Bible, 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show thyself approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed, but correctly handles the word of truth. A Christian will never stop black magic because they don't understand the principles of putting on the full armor of God. God tells Christians to put on the full armor. I've not met one Christian in 13 years that can describe in full details all of the full armors in details and how to use it in their daily life. When the Bible talks about the helmet of salvation, the sword of the spirit, the feet prepared for the gospel, all of this is for warfare. You have to do this consistently and pray without ceasing. Now, think about it for a moment. Majority of Christians, according to Billy Graham himself, the leader of Christian evangelism, says that the average Christian reads their Bible 1 hour a week. You got uneducated people everywhere. So how is it that you're going to stop a dark power that comes after you when you don't even know the word that you're actually reading? And they don't understand that they're so. So the number one victim of black magic are Christians, and I can prove it to you. I've been in ministry for 13 years doing this full time. I do not get checks. I don't get welfare. I don't get any kind of government assistance whatsoever. I live by my ability of selling my audio CDs, which today I have over 100 to 200 volumes of audio CDs, DVDs, mentorships. I live off of my products. For 13 years, I have over 60 terabytes because I can either show it to you. Let me show you my terabytes right here. This machine right here, let me see if I can show it to you. Wow. This machine right here holds 20 gigs, terabytes. This one holds 20 gigs, this a terabytes. This one holds 20. So I got 80 terabytes of hard drives. And if you notice, I push this button and these are all hard drives of testimonies of Christians that come to me demon possessed, that come to me with black magic, with spells and curses. I have tens of thousands of audio CDs to prove that what Joel Osteen is teaching people is a lie. What T.D. Jakes is teaching people is a lie. They are teaching people lies. And they're telling you that this year is your year of blessings when majority of Christians are struggling with financial struggles and black magic. So I don't give a hell what T.D. Joel Osteen says on that television set. I'm telling you, I answer my phones and the people are saying, Master Prophet, I'm in trouble. Majority of Christians are being demonized by co-workers. They're going to their Christian job and praising the Lord, and a coworker gets jealous and casting spells over them, causing incredible harm. Majority of Christians are their husbands being taken off of them. Do you not know that the most valuable man in society is a Christian man? He doesn't hit his wife. He doesn't speak against her. He brings her money. Every woman in black magic loves a Christian man. So who they go after? The Christians. Yeah. It's amazing. Remember, the women that pick up black magic is so that she can create these Christian men into money slaves. She's using magical powers and sex magic to control him spiritually so that he can pay her rent, he can pay her car note, and she can live extremely blessed. So when people tell me, Master Prophet, Christians are not being harmed, I'm telling you that because of lack of knowledge, the number one victim of society are Christians, because somehow or the other, they believe that they're being protected from black magic. This is the biggest error I'm seeing. And I can prove it to people with thousands of testimonies of people calling my ministry. I get pastors that call me. I get church leaders that call me, apostles that call me and says, Master Prophet, my children is demon possessed. Master Prophet, this demon says it's going to kill me and my wife. And I'm thinking in my mind, wait up, you have a big church. Why are you calling me? You know why they're calling me man of God? Do you want to know why? Yes. Because they can't operate at this level. Majority of Christians are told, according to the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16, and these signs will follow you with those who believe. You will cast out spirits. Congratulations, Christian, you can cast out a spirit. But nowhere in the Bible does it give a Christian the ability to work with deities. No, no, no. When Jesus was confronted by Satan, which is called the deity, and he told him, turn these rocks into bread, Jesus did not say, I cast you down, devil. I put a bind over you. I step on your head like these preachers said. Jesus did not make an accusation against them. Jesus responded, may the Lord rebuke you. Mm-hmm. When Michael the archangel, which stands in the presence of God, confronted Satan or the devil over the body of Moses, he did not bring an accusation. Michael was fighting with the devil over the body of Moses, but he said to Satan, may the Lord rebuke you. If a principality that is powerful or archangel could not come against the devil or Satan, and Jesus himself would not make an accusation, who the hell do you think you are if you're a human being? And Christians don't understand this level. God gives us the power to deal with spirits. A spirit is a low-level entity that anyone can control. I can do it in the occult. I could do it with Christianity. I could do it with all of those levels. But when you're dealing with a deity, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 23 says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers that control everything. That's another level. And the reason why Christians are not having, they're not being effective when it comes up to black magic, because they don't know who the deities are. If you are not having a covering of a deity, you're in trouble in this society. Now, can I teach you a quick secret before you ask another question?
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you and your listeners are not being covered by a deity, you're going to be in trouble in the society we live in. Do you not understand that the world leaders are using deities to control the masses? Have you ever heard of Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist?
Yes.
Okay. He has a video on YouTube that they took down. It's called the Bohemian Grove, where he proves that all of the world leaders gather in this government place that has hundreds and hundreds of acres of land, presidents of CEOs, major companies, and all that. They gather there once a year to stand in front of a 60-foot statue of Baal to worship the deity so that their business can be successful for the following year. If the average person is not covered by a deity, they're in trouble, because the world is using deities against us. You had another question?
Yeah, so this is fascinating. This is deep material also. Thank you, Master Prophet Noel. So someone may say, hey, Christ covers me. I'm covered by Christ and whatever. And I think you have brought something up to the effect that Christ is not in this realm in one of your presentations. Can you expand on that, about the slave trade and the Holocaust? And, I thought that was a great point.
Yes. What people don't realize, that if we're African American, if we're Hispanic, and we're from other cultures, your ancestors worship deities. This is History 101. When you look at Christianity, it was given to the people so that it can replace them, so that they will not have magical powers, because the world does not want you to have magical powers. And we see that in the 1600s. When the witches were doing witchcraft and they were causing harm in the 1600s, the Catholic Church put a decree to murder all the witches. So the world does not want you to have magical powers, because then if you have magical powers, they will not be able to control you. So they gave us a form of Christianity and put this meek Jesus that says, be good to your slave master. And this is amazing. If you're African American and you're worshiping Jesus Christ, you do not understand your heritage. Because let me make it very clear, the slave owners used the Bible to control the Black people. In the New Testament, the Bible says, household slaves, be submissive to your masters, even if they're harsh. In all of society, Black slaves were being used and given that biblical scripture to put them into submission. Now, let me show you a fact why slavery is so powerful and is still alive today. Let me show you a fact.
Gotcha.
People do not remember that they better look at their past. Your ancestors, if you're African American, used to worship deities. Now, think about it for a moment. Let's put ourselves in a scenario of slavery. We're being told that we're slaves. People are being handcuffed. The African American person is being beat. He's being beat into submission. His family's being taken away. His wife is being taken away. But a lot of people don't even know this ugly fact of slavery. Let me tell you another ugly fact of slavery. Your ancestors were constantly raped on the regular basis because when the white man could not get sexual orgasms from his wife because she was on his period, he would go into the slave quarters, put his penis in that Black woman's slave and enjoy her sexually because she was a piece of property. This is what slavery most people don't want to talk about. This is ugly, and this is reality, and this is truthful. Now, when we begin to understand that if you're African American and you're serving Jesus Christ, you don't understand your ancestry heritage. And to be honest with you, you're not really understanding the damage that you're doing for further generations, because these people were used to cause your people harm. And I want to make it very clear that if you're African American, you should look to the deity. If you're African American, your natural birth is voodoo or Santeria. That is the bloodline of your deities. If you move toward the natural birth of your deities that your ancestors worship, you will see success. Why you think that majority African-American people here in the United States are broke? They're worshiping a God that is not part of their destiny. Christians are broke. I'm making it as clear as possible. Majority of people are coming to me are broke. And can I give you another fact?
Yes, sir.
I was broke for 15 years worshiping Jesus Christ. So let me tell you a story that proves that I'm telling the truth. I used to go to this church called Healing from Heaven. Anyone from New York knows that church that is in Upper Amsterdam and it's under Pastor Stallworth. It's a beautiful church. It's called Healing from Heaven in Upper Harlem in the Dominican area over there when you cross over the Yankee Stadium Bridge.
Okay.
Now,
gotcha.
I'm walking through Yankee Stadium. Now, you're from New York, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. Now, I want you to think of the old Yankee Stadium, the one that was across the street, because the new one is now on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to walk that whole bridge, and you know that that's a distance. The whole bridge to get to Amsterdam, to get to Dominican land over there, to go to that church called Healing from Heaven under Pastor Stallworth. When I get to that church, because I didn't have no money, I didn't have no bus money, I didn't have no to get to train or anything like this. Now I would go into that church, and the first thing that when the preacher stopped the preaching, the first thing he would do is say, God says, I want 20 people to get up $20. Come on, come on, come on. I want 30 people to get up $100. Come on, come on. Jesus said $100. And he was giving up these $200 lines, these $50 lines, these $10 lines. And Jesus was always asking for money. And I didn't understand it because I was so broke. And I remember that at that time I had $2.50 for the bus or $3, whatever it was. I gave it as an offering, and then I had to walk from Amsterdam way back to the Bronx.
Wow, wow, wow. I was in the Bronx. I used to be on Grand Concourse on 167.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I know the Bronx. Yeah, yeah.
And I would have to walk all the way from there back to the Bronx because I did not have a penny. When people taught me about the prosperity gospel, I can quote you thousands of scriptures. It did not work. When they told me to give, according to Malachi chapter 3, verse 9, that you curse if you do not give, it does not work. Everything I did in Christianity for over 15 years, every scripture I memorized, every prayer I did, it did not work, and it caused me harm. The only time that I saw money was when Chango came into my life in the 7 African powers. That was the time I started seeing money. Chango got me out of a mobile home to my first property. Chango got me out of my first property to my second property. Chango got me from my second property to my farm and my rentals, and then Santa.Muerte took over from there. And that's when things started going really well.
Yeah, Santa.Muerte is very powerful. I mean, extremely powerful.
Yes.
It's right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's extremely powerful. Yeah.
Now, can I tell you the testimony about Santa.Muerte? Because it's a really weird
absolutely,
testimony.
man. Go ahead, brother. You got the floor. Yeah.
How I encountered Santa.Muerte is that for a couple of years, I was worshiping the 7 African powers and using this source of power to prophesy. So I would do is people would call in and I would call Ask Chango what is going to manifest in their life. And then that's the way I made money. I was able to make an income and support myself. One day I started noticing massive money struggles. And I was like, man, I'm losing about $4,000 a week. I don't know where, I didn't know what I was doing. So there was a demon that was convincing me that I wasn't putting enough Google ads. So what I began to do was I took a couple $1,000 and I put it on Google. It did not work. Then the demon came back and says, maybe you don't have enough websites. So I went and bought all these .coms and started pushing my websites, and it did not work. I was losing so much money that I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. So me and my wife decided to take a vacation because we were extremely stressed. We didn't know what was wrong. When my testimony of me meeting Santa.Muerte was that when me and my wife went on vacation and we took a break, I was at a hotel. And I began to notice that when I went to sleep, I fell into a dream or a vision. And in the dream or vision, I saw my ex-wife sleeping in the bed with me. And I go, wait up, I left your ass 15 years ago. What you doing here? And I'm like, what's going on? And then I noticed that there was a breeze that came into the room. So in the vision, I went to close the door of the room. And then I noticed that this place was like an apartment, that the front door was open. So in the vision, in the dream, I started walking to go to the front of the apartment and close the door. And someone pulled me from my back and pulled me into one of the bedrooms. When I turned around to see who it was a skeleton that gave me massive fear. I mean, I was just frozen. Now, I didn't know who this person was. It was just a skeleton. And then this is what she told me. So she told me my judgment has been completed. And then she put me in a vision and showed me that my ex-wife paid the African-American woman to do witchcraft on me, and showed me the amount of money, even the face of the lady, and that they went and did witchcraft on me. And this whole scenario of me losing tens of thousands of dollars was because my ex-wife did black magic on me. And when Santa.Muerte came to me, she told me, your judgment is completed. And she says, from this day forward, everything is going to be restored. I promise you, man of God, that I was so fearful of this deity. First of all, I didn't know who Santa.Muerte was. All I saw was a skeleton. I went on the next day and did Wikipedia and noticed that same skeleton I saw in that vision was Santa.Muerte. And that's when I knew A and B makes this. And I found out she was the one that revealed it. When she says that my judgment was completed, the next day, I had $7,000 in my bank account. My money was restored immediately once the black magic was broken.
Yeah,
immediately.
She's very effective in that. And I discovered it, like, I'm the family genealogist, you know what I'm saying? So like, people call me like, is this dude related to me? Like that's my role in the family sort of thing. So There's a couple of lines. Some of them are like some of them Spanish, and some of them are like Creole from New Orleans. But this ventures off into Mexico because people forget that New Mexico or New Spain and the area encompassed was just more than what it is today. You know, it encompassed states like almost going up to Kentucky and all this sort of thing. So in that process, I was already into the arts, and you know, I started thinking about it, praying. I started seeing certain things, and it came to me that one of my mentors years ago was a priest from Nigeria, and he told me the things that they do over there they can't do over here, and I never understood it. And she answered that question. Santa.Muerte answered that question because it's like this: what power, if I'm living in New York City, what power could the mayor of France have over the city? Maybe he has protection as a diplomat, he comes through, but you first have to get the blessing of the powers of that land. That's like when Daniel was praying. Remember, Daniel was praying for 21 days, and then the Prince of Persia blocked. The Prince of Persia was doing what it was supposed to do because he was in that land. It's really, really amazing. And that was one of the things that, you know, I understand why that effect that she has on all the children in the Americas and even abroad at this point, because that right is old, you know what I'm saying? But also importantly, it's like, that's one of the ruling deities of this land. So, you know, so when you take something from another tree and also with this tree, because we're both like have that genealogy to both of those sides, then it gives you even a greater impact, and it allows her, she's very effective in breaking away a lot of blockages in your path. You know what I'm saying? That have been put in front of you. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, because that's a huge testimony that is very encouraging to people who even walk that way or those who are curious about it. You know what I'm saying?
And just to add something else to it, for the last several years, I've been working with Shango and the Seven African Powers somewhere between 10 years, and it's going on 3 years that I've been working with Santa.Muerte full time. For the last 3 years, I've been seeing Santa.Muerte do so much incredible stuff. Oh my God, I love this deity. So let me just give you some of my personal testimony. I've seen Santa.Muerte touch a woman that had cancer 2 times. There was a woman that came to me that I have the testimony on my website. Apostle Darrell Breaker brought me one of his personal friends to me called Mrs. Walker. Mrs. Walker was a woman that had cancer, and the doctors referred that she take her breasts out. She followed the doctor's advice. She took her breasts out, and in 6 months later, the cancer reoccurred. The second time the cancer came, they told her to take out her ovaries, that everything would be healed after she takes out her ovaries. She did it. 6 months later, the cancer came again. She came to me at 99 pounds, ready to die. And all I kept doing was, Santa.Muerte, I pour blood in your name, Santa.Muerte, save this woman. And she gave me, I think she gave me a $500 donation. And I spent 6 days pouring blood for her. And I have Apostle Darrell Baker's testimony on my website that he came back to me. And I said, what happened? Did she go to the hospital? Did she get her checkup? She said, Master Prophet, you ain't gonna believe it. They went and checked her, and they did a diagnosis of her, and she's cancer free. And she was set free. This was all because of Santa.Muerte. Let me give you another testimony. I have a woman in my ministry that's named, her first name is Veronica. Veronica came to me in a mess. She came to me because she was dating this guy, a very good looking guy, a tall individual, but he was cheating with another girl. Now, the girl was throwing black magic on my girl called Veronica and throwing massive spells on her. Now, my girl Veronica is a college graduate. She was getting her master's degree. She works at the university. She got a high-paying job. She got a beautiful 7-bedroom house. I mean, the woman had everything going for her. When the black magic came, it not only made her lose her job, it made her blind for a couple of days. It threw her in a mental institution. And I got the recordings of all this to prove what I'm saying. Wow. This woman was found by her sister. They were calling the job. They couldn't find her. The fire people broke the door and they found her on the floor, 3 days on the floor, literally talking babble, where they literally took her into a mental institution because of black magic.
Wow.
When she came to me, I told her $2,500 and I will pour blood and we will make all this go away. I have her testimony that not only did we get rid of all the black magic in the name of Santa.Muerte, but I got the testimony that they returned a $50,000 grant that they were supposed to give her for college, because when the black magic came, she started failing her classes and so they held that 50,000. And when we put the blood, they re-released that 50,000. So she got not only healed spiritually, mentally, physically, but $50,000 grant was re-given to her. That was her testimony. And I have the audios to prove it.
Wow.
So there's been some powerful stuff. Yeah, there's been some powerful stuff.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. She is amazing, you know. Yeah,
yes.
La Medina is amazing, you know. So it's fascinating. Wow, that's deep, man. That's
yes.
That's one of the greatest testimonies I've ever heard on that behalf. You know what I mean? So it's really, I'm sitting back here thinking like, wow, that's
and let me add something else. Let me add something else, man of God. What I've been noticing with Santa.Muerte is that she wants people not to fear her.
Right.
And I think that this is really the magical thing I'm doing for the average person, because in my training course, I have a course called the Prophetic Priesthood, where I'm training people the goodness of this deity, where I'm training people how to get Santa.Muerte to bring them a house. Most people can't own their own home. How does Santa.Muerte could get people brand new cars? Most of my girls can't get brand new cars. How they can get new love in their life? You know how many people are looking for soulmates? So what I've been training individuals is not to fear this deity. Let's summon her to get the things we need in life. And then what they're starting to notice, that when Santa.Muerte brings back this lover or this soulmate, and that she does good for them, now they can trust her and now they can walk with her. Because the fear of the occult is what's keeping them from operating in this level. It really is.
Yeah.
And let me make it clear. I think the world are putting movies like The Exorcist and Demon Possession to put fear in people so that they will not operate at this level, because only when you operate in this level will you have the knowledge and freedom to set yourself free, because we are economic slaves and we will only be free if we have the knowledge of the deities walking with us.
Absolutely. Like you see like these scary movies, but you know the technology could be benefited. Like when you see something like Superman put a stone in and then his father appears. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's sort of it's kind of crazy, but like if it's us in a movie, you know what I mean, they're gonna make it like dark or whatever, you know. So
yes. And I think that they put it dark because they want you to stay away from it, because they know it's the answer. So let me give you a quick testimony according to YouTube. Let me tell you a testimony of YouTube. Now, I'm going to say allegedly, because this woman is too big and I don't want to cause no problems with her.
Right.
If you go to YouTube, allegedly, and I've seen this with my eyes, Beyonce, Jay-Z's wife, says in an interview that a demon comes inside of her called Sasha Fierce. And the demon gives her the ability to sing and dance. It's right there on YouTube. It's not my opinion. It's right there on YouTube. This is what Beyonce says. Now think about it for a moment, because this is what I'm trying to teach. If this rich, beautiful, the most gorgeous woman in the world is using a spirit called Sasha Fierce to give her the ability to sing more effectively, to dance and move more effectively, according to her own testimony, then I better learn how to use spirits, because man, what she got is what I want.
I hear you. I hear you. There's a couple of questions I had based on what you had. Thanks for sharing those testimonies, because that was some really deep stuff. What is because when I first heard you speak, it was purely the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because I identified like this is man, God is walking with them, the deities are walking with them, and he's saying like a lot of wise things that were very straightforward that you really wouldn't hear unless you was at a misa or in a closed room or something like that. What is prophetic ministry? Because I've heard this term before, prophetic ministry. If you could break that down for us, that would be great, Prophet Noel.
Oh, beautiful. I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal of my life mission is to bring the occult to the prophetic. And when I define the prophetic, I'm defining individuals like myself that are working prophets, that we prophesy to people, we reveal the future, we do tarot card readings, we do astrology readings. Anyone that is moving in the supernatural to aid other individuals to give them a better quality of life. We're trying to give them life-changing information. My definition of the prophetic is a working prophet using a form of divination to bring clarity to individuals.
Wow.
So my number one function is to really target the church. And this is really where I'm at. This is, I'm not looking for the people in the world that already knows about the occult. I'm looking for the church, because the church is the place where they need the most help. And what I'm really looking for is to retrain prophets to use the levels of Santeria and the occult, and to use levels of Santa.Muerte and bring it to the masses. But you say, Master Prophet, how are you gonna bring the occult to the church? Simple. I begin to show them the wisdom from the Bible. You see, the Bible has incredible wisdom, but we can't see that wisdom because the person that's training us is giving a theology according to his perspective. So he's teaching us his wisdom. But I don't need his wisdom. I'm going to teach you what is in the Bible. I have a uniqueness to pull biblical scriptures and show you God and show you divination. So ask me the question, Master Prophet, show me divination, magic, or prophecy in the Bible. Ask me that question.
Master Prophet, show me divination and occultism in the Bible. Give me one second. Let me just turn this on, because
sure.
I didn't realize. I thought my computer was plugged in, but it was slightly off. This I forget what you call it. But go ahead, man of God.
One of the things that the 7 African powers have given me a mastery level is to mix the occult with the Bible. And believe me, that is mainly just for me. That was something that they give me that is unique. And I laugh all the time when they give me stuff that I can prove almost anything from that Bible. So let me give you some examples. You know, the majority of prophets are out there prophesying, and they begin to prophesy. We see a church prophet, he begins to prophesy. If you're really honest, most church prophets are broke. Most of them are struggling, and they're working 9-to-5 jobs. I don't work a 9-to-5 job. I make enough money by using my gift of prophecy to feed me and my family and my other businesses. My gift makes me more money than a 9-to-5 job. And when you look at the Bible, there are biblical instances to prove this. In the book of Acts, chapter 16, verse 16, it says, Peter and Paul went to a place of prayer, and they met a slave girl who had a spirit, and she was able to predict the future. She earned a great deal of money. So think about it for a moment. If the girl was using a spirit to foretell the future and she earned a great deal of money, then why the hell the majority of people are working 9-to-5 jobs when they have the gift of prophecy living inside of them? And this is what most people don't realize. No one is going to give you true economics. If you're looking for economics in the world, you're looking for the wrong place. It is your gift that will place you in front of kings. So what I started noticing that if I'm going to take the message of the occult to the Christian people, then I better make sure that I can really find enough scriptures and understanding that I can show it to them in the faith. So they say, Master Prophet, the Bible is not occultic. Okay, so if the Bible is not occultic, why did the books line up to 666? Those are two occultic numbers that a book should have never lined up to. 66 books of the Bible. Master Prophet, the Bible is not occultic. If the Bible, if there is no occult in the Bible, why did Jesus had to die pouring his blood? This is something we all do in voodoo and Santeria and in the occult. That's occultic. Master Prophet, the Bible is not occultic. If the Bible is not occultic, then why does the Bible says that the kings, the three kings, followed the star, which is astrology, until they found the baby Jesus Christ? Why is the Bible saying that astrology was used to find the baby Jesus Christ? So there are many things in the Bible that proves that the occult is there, but the people that are training us are lying to us. The reason why the church is lying to people, because they don't want you to have magical powers, because you will be just like me. You will have no need for a church.
Yeah, there's a that's amazing that you bring that out. It made me think there's a scripture in the Bible. I cannot think of the individual. He was one of the judges, and when he went to war, he promised God to give his daughter as a sacrifice. I was like, wait, let me read this again. This is in the Bible. Like, this dude said, God, if I win this war, I'm going to give my daughter as a sacrifice. It's right in the Bible. It's in the book of Judges. Yeah, it's right in the book of Judges. It's fascinating because people never look at it like from that angle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's beautiful, because I was wondering, because when I first saw you mention prophetic, I was like, okay, let me look into, because I think there's a prophetic Protestantism or something like that people to talk about, right? So I said, man, he seems a little bit clear and wise for that sort of thing, like that, so thanks for clearing that up. I'm sure a lot of our viewers and listeners will be really intrigued. How would you describe then Santeria? Because I know you offer also teachings in Santeria, I think even initiation, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. How I teach Santeria is that it's simple. I began to tell the deities that if they're going to use me as a vessel to bring forth knowledge, they had to give me wisdom, because Santeria had to have a new face, and I had to give it a new face. So let me give you an example. When you think of yoga, it was first introduced to the masses as a religious organization, and the people rejected it. When the person became wise, which I'm calling myself wise, he began to think, how can I change the image of yoga from being a religion to being something that someone can use while they're working to release the stress? Only when they changed the image of yoga and started applying it for people as stressed at their job did the thing blow up, and now it's all over the world. It's traveling. So when I think of Santeria, the old image of Santeria of an African-American man with missing teeth, in a room casting spells with blood sacrifices, statues everywhere, has to go. That image has to go. So what I'm teaching people is that we can create a new image. And the new image is that we can summon the 7 African powers to build businesses, to get properties, to heal people, to help people, and begin to see a new image of Santeria so that it can begin to spread. Because Santeria will not spread as long as people have fear that this is a cultic. It will not spread. It will not grow. It will stay undercover, underground. And this, my life mission, is to bring it to the masses. So how I use Santeria? Simple. When someone comes to my ministry, they call me at the University of Prophetic Coach, and I have 100 to 200 courses, CDs, DVDs, mentorships. I begin to train them in Santeria. We have the initiation into Santeria, the magical powers. And what I begin to do is first introduce them to the deities. No person should pick up a magical book. I don't care where you buy it from, eBay, from everywhere, and summon a deity if you're not permitted to move at this level. Nobody. So what the first thing we do is we go through initiation. I'll have some prayers ready for them. We'll do some spiritual baths. And then I begin to summon the deity to come. We're asking Chango and the 7 African powers to give them a mystical sign, to make sure that they accept them as their son and as their daughter. And when they get the mystical sign, now they can move freely in this religion. Now Chango could come to you, he can give you guidance, he can give you protection, and he can give you all of the things you need. Now, let me explain to you why I need the 7 African powers. I am a prophet. Monday through Sunday, or every 7 days a week, I answer phones, giving live prophecies. I do live mentorships. I do training sessions. We also do rituals. People want their husband to come back. People want to break black magic. We do a lot of different services. I need the 7 African powers, first of all, to protect me. This is the first thing I need. Majority of people do not understand that you cannot communicate with a deceased loved one and not have a deity protect you. It's extremely dangerous. Majority of people don't understand that you can't just come over someone and break black magic. You don't have the authority to do that if you don't have a deity walking with you. So the first level is protection. The second level that I use Santeria for is wisdom. Let me give you an example of what I mean that is wisdom. You ready?
Okay.
When people come to me, they say, Master Prophet, this medical doctor told me so-and-so. I say, he's lying to you. He said, but Master Prophet, he's a medical doctor. I said, listen, if you're going to listen to that white man that wants to kill you faster than you can imagine, you go listen to that white man. But if you listen to your ancestors, they always summon a deity. They went and got the voodoo man. So this is what I tell them. The wisdom part comes is that when someone comes to me and says, Master Prophet, I have this ailment in my body. I don't know how to heal myself. The doctor says I'm going to die. I don't know what to do. I'll ask them for a $300 donation, and I will consult Chango and the 7 African powers to give me wisdom to help that person with their sickness. Do you not know that the human body is created to heal itself?
Wow. Yes.
And that if you look at your ancestors, they always used herbs. So if you had a problem with an infection, they would go into the forest, dig up some herbs, and give it to you. If you had a problem that you couldn't have children, they'll go into the forest, dig up these herbs, and give it to you. Well, this is the same remedy that I present to my clients, because I am not looking for a white man to give me a magical pill. I'm looking for the deities to give me the herbs to heal the person properly. So the second realm is wisdom. The third realm is money. Without economics, we have no power. We need economics. We're living in a time where this man-made disease called the coronavirus was implicated on mankind because the masters have a plan for mankind. That's what it is. This is not natural. There's nowhere in history do we see this. We saw the Black Plague, but we didn't see this stupidness that's happening. We see it because they have a plan for us, an agenda. So the only way we can overcome these masters that are in control of our destiny is we summon the deities and listen to the advice they gave. Now, can I give you advice that they gave me, man of God?
Yes, sir.
Go to the farm and go get yourself some animals, because life is going to get real hard real soon. The deities told me to go purchase a farm and start making my own chickens, where I didn't have to worry about somebody throwing some secret stuff on top of the eggs. The deities began to say, get your own farm where I have water that comes out of the bottom of the ground. That has no contamination. I don't have no sewer. I don't have no water from the city. This thing comes from the ground. I drink all the water I want. The deity says, go do your own pigs, your chickens, and all of the other stuff, and do your own food, because the stuff they're getting ready to put in foods is going to cause us more harm than any generation before us. When we listen to the advice of the deities, only then will we see success in life, because this world has an agenda for us all.
Wow. That's very powerful, very powerful. And you also mentioned something that also attracted me to your ministry, and that was about economics. I think that's something a lot of times we're not even trained, for economics. So it's good to meet someone, I think, who is a man of God, who unravels that dimension as well. And I think that's part of the progression as well. But a lot of times in society, and as you mentioned earlier, a lot of times those things are separated from someone doing spiritual work. Can you explain the importance of money? Because people think, okay, is this some type of, whatever, some type of sham or because money is mentioned and things of that nature. Can you explain the perspective of the divine world, the world of the deities and money?
Man, that is a great question. You ready?
Yeah.
The difference between what I teach is I provide products and services with the magical powers that I invest in the people that come to me. Mm-hmm. To know that you're dealing with a spiritual leader that is a fake, that he's getting ready to rob you, that he's going to cause you harm, he will ask you for $10,000 to heal your child that has some kind of autism or demon possessed. And then when you go to his website, he has no books, no tapes, no videos, and there's nothing he's created. Whenever you see a spiritual leader that is lazy, that he has not taken the time to create, you better run from that spiritual leader, because he's a charlatan and he will cause you harm. What I'm training my prophets, like who you are, I looked at your stuff. You have a beautiful collection of books. Thanks. And I'm really impressed.
Thanks.
I'm really impressed because you're a spiritual leader and you have such a great collection of books that you created. You have the authority to be able to train people and help people, and know that you will not do them any harm because you're not going anywhere. You created all of that to stand and build your kingdom. You're not doing anything illegal. You're not going to harm them in any way. The difference between a charlatan that's using magic is he's looking to get your money, but he has nothing to offer you. That is the danger. So if anyone comes up to you and says, I will heal your child, give me $10,000. And you go to his website and there's no books, no tapes, no videos, no DVDs. He doesn't do conferences. He does nothing. Run from that person, because he's using magical powers to cause harm. Now that we've set that as the stage, now I can explain to you economics. For me to build economics, I need to begin to train people. The number one thing about building economics is the power of creation. You will never be able to earn economics unless you create. If I begin to create courses on, let's say, the 666 method that I created on how to heal the sick, and I begin to mentor a person on healing, I provide training, I provide mentorship, spiritual baths, and I can provide them products and services. When they place the donation in my hand, they feel assured that I'm truly a man of God because I'm providing in return. The problem with the occult, they ask you for money and they give you nothing in return. So economics is necessary if you're going to provide the people a product or service, including the magical level that you're also providing and the help. If you can provide them a product and service, then you have the right to earn economics.
That's amazing.
And that's the difference.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. These conversations we've been having have been very enlightening, extremely enlightening, and it's really making me think about some things over how I do things in my own presentation. And we couldn't thank you enough for just sharing your wisdom, man. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask just one or two more questions because this is really exciting. Like I'm just soaking everything in. And that is, what are some of the courses that you offer in your university, and how would a student come to contact you and that sort of thing?
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The number one courses that I begin to offer is if Christians come to me, because I deal with two groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
The average Christian that is not enlightened at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I deal with people that are more in the mystical realms, just like you. So
Okay.
the average Christian that comes to me, I usually start them off with the School of the Prophets. The School of the Prophets is 10 DVDs, mm-hmm. 10 CDs for a $300 donation. Mm-hmm. I provide them 2 live sessions with me, 60 minutes, where I teach them 10 ways to prophesy. Mm-hmm. I teach people how to give a date and time prophecy. I teach them how to communicate with angels so that they can reveal the future. And mm-hmm. I provide this with a 5-week mentorship that comes with diplomas, ID cards for a $300 donation. Mm-hmm. Every Christian should go through the School of the Prophets, because if they're called into ministry, this is the best biblical course out there that will teach them 10 ways to prophesy. So if anyone who's Christian, they should go through that course.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
And believe me when I tell you this, it's really good, because I show you how to communicate with angels. I show you distinctive ways angels will come to you to reveal the future by images, the way you feel. And I show you the biblical ways that these angels come. I'll show you how to communicate with the Holy Spirit so you can look at a person and begin to prophesy over their life. And then I give also training on how to look at a person's date of birth and reveal events that are going to unfold in their life. These are all biblical, filled with scriptures, and are mainly moving for Christians. And then, people that are also more enlightened could take that course, of course, mm-hmm. but that course is mainly for them, because I have to walk them into the cult.
Right.
Now, but individuals like yourself that mm-hmm. is way more enlightened, mm-hmm. usually I bring them through initiation stages. I might bring them through Santeria, the initiation of secret power. It's a 10 audio CDs, 10 CDs that I begin to train people. Who is Chango? Who is Elegua? Who is Ochun? Mm-hmm. And then I begin to introduce them so that they can actually come to them, and then begin to show them how to use magical powers to get money, how to use magical powers to get properties, to bring lovers. One of the things that I always do in my courses, especially when it comes up to the occult, is I show people how to use the occult to get the things they want in life. Mm-hmm. I show them how it must be applicable. Mm-hmm. So when a woman comes to me, I show her how to get a man. You can imagine how many women coming to me in their 60s and said, Master Prophet, a man hasn't touched me in years. And I said, why? He says, because I can't get them. I said, well, you better learn who Chango is. He'll bring you all the men you want. Mm-hmm. And they start getting these men. Yeah. And believe me, my girls love me. I got a lot of women, mm-hmm. people that want to go back to college, people that want houses, people that want things. So in my initiation, for people that are more educated and more enlightened, I usually move them into the Santeria initiation, mm-hmm. or I move them into the Santa.Muerte initiation. Both systems are distinctive and they have magical powers, but I usually move one person, depending on who they are, and then move them to the second realm so that they can begin to grow, because we need as much magical powers as we can find. So you say, Master Prophet, what's the difference between Santeria and Santa.Muerte? Ask me that question.
Yeah, Master Prophet, what's the difference between Santeria and Santa.Muerte?
Santeria, for me, I have access to 7 African deities that all master a level of divination. Mm-hmm. And each one of those levels, I can use it to bring people miracles, manifestations, money, and I can use any of those 7 African powers. Now, Santa.Muerte is also extremely important. Mm-hmm. She's a separate deity that moves away from the masses. So let me inform you something that you might not be aware of. You ready?
Okay. Got it. Good.
If a person comes to me, mm-hmm. and has voodoo over them, mm-hmm. I can stop the voodoo using Santeria, because Santeria has a deity called Chango, voodoo has a deity called Shango, and I can use these deities to counteract each other and to close it down. Now, gotcha. If I throw Santa.Muerte magic on someone, no one will be able to stop it, because in voodoo and Santeria, they're not working with that deity. So this is how it works. So this deity is separate. This deity is extremely powerful, and no one in voodoo can summon an offering to stop her, because they're not dealing with it. I can summon, if someone throws voodoo on one of my clients, I can summon an offering to Chango, which is Chango in voodoo, and in Santeria, he's Chango, and he will stop the power, but no one can stop it when it's Santa.Muerte. She's a separate deity. She has her own source of magical powers. She's a deity that helps my women that are lonely, that are in trouble, helps women that their children are in jail. She is the #1 deity to the drug dealers. Now, can I tell you another fact?
Go ahead, brother.
If you go to Wikipedia, this is what Wikipedia says. Santa.Muerte is the mother of the drug dealers of the Mexican cartels. So you're telling me that $1 billion drug industry depends on Santa.Muerte to protect their products? That tells you how powerful she is. That I can't even say no more than that. If $1 billion industry will use this deity to protect their drugs, then you know how powerful that lady is.
Wow, absolutely. It's been wow, this has been amazing to be able to have dialogue and to learn so much about your chamber, and also about the sciences that you teach. You know, it's really, really amazing. Your work is to be respected with the utmost reverence. You know,
Thank you.
I think this has really, really been great. And I'm going to list, the website, for those who are viewing this. You can see that in the description and everything like that. So I think that's really, really should work out well. And yeah, that's basically all the questions I think I have for today. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been wonderful talking, you know what I mean?
Blessings.
Yeah, it's been wonderful talking. And what I have one more question, because I know a lot of readers, a lot of the viewers are very excited, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not often sometimes that you even find access to someone who's teaching these things with authenticity as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which I think is very important. How have been some of the testimonies of some of the people that you brought through these chambers of Santeria and Santa.Muerte? If you just give us like 1 or 2 examples of some of the benefits that people have come to you have had.
Wow, that's a great question. I got a lot. I got a lot. So let me just give you one of, I got so many of my girls that love me. I got so many girls that love me. So let me give you one of my testimonies. One of my testimonies is I have a girl called Prophetess Cox. She's African-American. She's in her 31 years old. When she came to me, she was living in her uncle's house, sleeping on his couch, dead broke, no job, and a man would not put his penis in her for nothing.
Wow.
She said, Master Prophet, I need help. I want a lover. I know that I'm not beautiful, but I need a man and I need money. She began to come to me and we began to do rituals. I took her to the Santeria course. I initiate her and bring her to Santeria and ask that the deities bless her. I bring her to Santa.Muerte and says, break this black magic. Within literally 3 to 4 months, she began to get new lovers that began to come into her life. And you would be amazed. And let me tell you something that majority of people don't hear. Let me make this as clear as possible. You would be amazed how many women give me thousands of dollars to find a man or their soulmate. You would be amazed. You'd be amazed. You'll be amazed that there's a group of women that are out there that will give me any amount of money just to find the right man that will engage with them sexually.
Wow.
You would be amazed. When I started taking Prophetess Cox through these rituals, she began to have lovers come into her life. Then she got a job. We helped her to get a brand new apartment with bad credit. And the last thing that we helped Prophetess Rose do is get her 2021 Dodge Charger. We did a ritual to
Wow.
Santa.Muerte because Prophetess Cox has bad credit. She had bad credit. She left a couple apartments without paying the rent. And we did a blood magical ritual, and we did 6 days of blood magical ritual. I think she gave me a $500 donation. In the 6th day, Santa.Muerte woke her up from the sleep and told her, call her sister. She picked up the phone and she started communicating with her sister. Her sister says, yeah, you know, they started communicating. Her sister said, listen, I'm doing a PPP loan because I'm filing for this. So Prophetess Cox says, what is that? And immediately Prophetess Cox said, can you help me with one?
Wow.
She helped her with the PPP loan. In less than 3 to 4 weeks, she got $12,000 from the PPP loan. She went to the car dealership and got the put it down to $12,000 for a Dodge. It was one of those strong cars. It was a Dodge Charger 2021, and she ran off the dealership with a brand new Dodge Charger.
Wow.
So that's one testimony.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of my girls. I have many, many of my girls that I've seen get houses. I've seen get, one of my girls got a $50,000 loan. Another one got a $100,000 loan. I've seen people that got lawsuit monies that they were in the air for 5 or 10 years being immediately pulled down, and they give me a large donation. I got a girl called Ruby, Prophetess Ruby. She was working with a supervisor that was giving her hell. She's a military girl. She's extremely financially blessed, but her supervisor was giving her a lot of trouble. She said, Master Prophet, can you remove this girl from this job? I says, make a $500 donation and I'll pour some blood and she'll be gone. She gave me that donation. I threw that blood on the ground. I cursed her. And that girl, within 3 to 4 weeks, disappeared and she no longer at the job. So I can tell you hundreds of testimonies of people getting money, people getting health, people getting cars, homes, all because of the 7 African powers and because of Santa.Muerte working together to bring these people the miracles that they desire. Yes. And keep in mind, all of this comes with audios because I have all the testimonies when people actually call in. So when people say, Master Prophet, are you telling the truth? This is the way I can prove that I'm telling the truth. Go to my website at the University of Prophetic Coaching and listen to any of my hundreds of volumes of audio CDs. And I let you hear the testimonies for yourself because I'm the only prophet that doesn't edit his testimonies. When someone calls my ministry, whatever is said out of my mouth is what's recorded. I don't edit anything. So everything that someone said in my ministry, I have a recording for it because I record everything when people call me. That's how it works.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And, you know, thank you once again, man, because this has truly been a blessing. And I can testify to your ability of prophecy and everything. Because, you know, it's funny because when I came, I said, man, you know, this brother, he's got some things going on. And I want to look into this Santa.Muerte course. The next thing you know, you sent me an email. I didn't tell you this, but you sent me an email with 2 DVDs, you know, like I could watch it, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, this guy, he's really on point, you know, for even him to gauge that, you know. So, you know, I thought that was really like a blessing. And, you know, we'll talk more, you know, offline, you know, about a couple of things because I find your work very, very beneficial and very educational, you know. So I just want to thank you for taking the time and coming out today and just sharing, you know, some of your wisdom with us, because it's like some of the work that you're doing is truly amazing, enhancing people's lives and, you know, making this world a better place and making it better for people who have been oppressed and, you know, they can now, you know, experience a little taste of heaven on earth, you know. So, you know, this guy's, you know, is like one of the realest spiritualists that I've encountered. So, you know, it's definitely been an honor in that regard. And, you know, we're gonna keep building. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep building some things, and I'm looking forward to this. So I want to thank you once again, and I want to just let our listeners know that you could contact him at the link in the description, and y'all can have a good night and many blessings to Master Prophet Noel.
Thank you so much. And it's been an honor because I am so happy to see someone that has taken the time to educate himself and create so many books. One of the things that I found amazing about you is your consistency to create those volumes of books, because that tells me that you are a spiritually inclined individual that wants to educate his people. And I'm always impressed with people that take that level of effort. So I really honor you for the movement that you're doing, for the prophetic outlook. I saw your website. I'm amazed at so much different volumes of things, because I went to the website. I was like, wow, this is a world in itself. Yeah. I mean, I was like, this is a world. Yeah. And when I see that level of creation, I immediately tell myself, this man is moving in his destiny. And I honor you for that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank
Lessons.
you. Yeah, we're definitely going to build some stuff, you know what I mean? So I think it will be really great. Stay online. I'm going to end the video and let the listeners know that, you know, we'll be back again in a couple of days. And so everyone have a good night and peace.